Hello and welcome to episode 22. We have a special guest. It's going to be Graham, the former analyst of Barcode. Sir, talk to me a little bit. Tell the fans what you're all about here.
Thank you. So I'm Graham, as one of the holders said, former analyst of Barcode. Right now, still looking for a team. Hopefully, someone contacts me. But my career started out as a caster on the MOBA scene. Even way back. I've played Dota 1, and that's where this dream of being involved in esports came up. Ever since as a kid, because in when here in the Philippines, the only esports back then was when I was a kid was Halo.
Okay.
Wait, there was a Halo scene? I didn't
there
know
was,
about that.
There was actually, and then it's like a dream of mine that, I think someday, video games will be included in the like Olympics or something. I want to be part of that. So when I was younger, I really tried to play professionally, I would say. Semi-pro. Some of the Dota 2 folks that is still playing right now, I actually have fought with them or had a match with them semi-pro as a kid. But eventually, we grow older, and then you just accept that, hey, my instincts are not there anymore. And then that's when I decided to move in as a caster. And then from there on, switch to HOK. Dota 2 and HOK, by the way, is just the two games that, is really what I like to cast. So when I switched to HOK, I started as a analyst for the casting panel. And then suddenly someone contacted me like, hey, would you like to be an analyst for this team? And then that's where, I practiced being an analyst. And yeah, that's where I am right now.
That's awesome. But okay, obviously somebody saw you online. You were making some serious calls as an analyst, as you were casting.
Yeah.
What did you say that made you so smart that they're like, a team is like, oh, I want that because I need help in sounding smart?
Well, I'm really not quite sure. Maybe it's the confidence that I had, because when I study a game, let's say for example, I study a scene and study a game, I just don't put put out like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. My thought process on that is that I try to check, are these things being done on a higher level, something like that. And then that's where, so this is where it come from. This is where it come from. Then that's the time that I question things. And why can't we do this in this kind of level? Why are they not doing this? Like, for example, in a Tyrant fight, as was what I've learned from the Chinese coaches that I've worked with, it's like in HOK to be specific, it's like you don't fight inside the Tyrant, you zone in the Tyrant. So basically, I think one thing I learned is that, why are they not zoning in? Why are they just going in and putting up fights in the Tyrant? And then that's where I question things. Oh, maybe this should be the one that they are doing. And then that's the time that I draft my video, I put it into a notepad. This is what I need to do. Even the notes on the video that I do, I still draft that one that, hey, this should be here, this should be here, this person should be here, this player should be here, something like that.
Yeah, I think the long form videos that you have been doing back then was a really big help in how they got you as an analyst, because those were what you were doing was, there was a lot of analysis with what you're doing, and I really love watching your videos with that, those long form videos. It was very informative if everybody out there watched it.
Yeah, well, hopefully they did, but one of the things that I hate about myself is that I just explain too much. So on those kinds of videos, it's really shortened down to that certain time. But in reality, it's like my brain is just continuing to pop up some ideas like, oh, it should be like this, it should be like this, it should be like this. But at some point, I just remember that, hey, focus on the thing that is important. Focus on the topic of the video and something like that.
I've never felt more relatable at that point. When we're on broadcast, it's kind of like, okay, I want to say everything. There's so many things happening, but then we only have like that set amount of time to really deliver information. So we've been always told that, okay, you have to be concise. You have to say what is the critical point in that piece of information we want to transfer. And I feel that has helped all of us level up in our shoutcasting. And for you, definitely, as a coach analyst, that's going to help you level up much faster as well.
Yep. Agree.
So first off, I think that we need some of those access to those links. Apologies for not having those in advance, but I think that that would be great to kind of pass along to some of our viewers to kind of get the insights. But if you're watching the game, obviously you watch it very different than like a player, viewer, caster, all of these things. I mean, you were a former caster, but I think that as an analyst though, what is like the thought process? Like you're looking at one, two, like what is that, those steps, so to speak, that you're really digging into here?
Well, as an analyst, it's kind of hard because basically, as an analyst, you need to look at the micro and the macro side of the game. So you don't just analyze the macro, you also analyze the micro. And beyond that, you need to also analyze the numbers within the game. So initially, what I'm looking at first, since HOK is a macro heavy game, I would say, is the macro, how the team moves, how the team moves around the map, how they control their lane, how they zone out the enemy team. Initially, that's what I do, but then I just can't. It's not my style just to go into the macro. I want to see the micro side as well. So after maybe the game, I rewatch this videos, the games, and then this player should cast his spell earlier, something like that. The macro side, and then I again rewatch the games to calculate the numbers, like the pick rate, win rate, and all. I have my own spreadsheet of the datas that I had. Even right now, PKL is coming in. I have a ready-made spreadsheet already for PKL. I just need to enter the data. So yeah, that's how I analyze games. It's very layered, I would say. But initially, when I watch games, I only see the macro because that is the very important thing in HOK right now.
Yeah, I want to add something about what Holler asked right there, because macro side of things when it comes to HOK, it kind of seems like there's a step by step, right? 1 minute you should do this, at 3 minutes 30 seconds you should be like this. But working as an analyst, you probably saw how sometimes there's some limitations to it, because the players won't be able to get there in time. They won't be able to get there. What are the challenges that you face during those times? Because there is some step by step, but my players right now won't be able to do that. Something like that.
Well, the thing is, on that case, the thought process would be why. I would immediately ask why, because for what I believe, basically, if you can't do something, then you have done something wrong before that.
Ooh,
so
okay.
what led to that thing that you can do? Why can't you, let's say for example, why can't you get the Tyrant? Why can't you invade their jungle? Because in MOBA, as per my experience in MOBA, I've been playing MOBA, Dota 1, Dota 2, and then HOK. As my experience in MOBA, basically, if you start up wrong, you will end up wrong. That's how it goes. If even those little things, if you do those little things wrong, it will eventually pile up, and then eventually your team will have a hard game. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay. If we're talking about the difference between what you do and a coach, though, right? Like in terms of how dealing with a team, like how do you draw the line? Is someone like good cop, someone's like bad cop? Like what exactly? Can you break that down for us?
Well, last time with Barcode, what I would do is that I was the one in charge of numbers. Because basically with Barcode last season, we have a Chinese coach.
Yeah.
So in terms of strategy, I leave it up all to him. I mean, he has more knowledge than I do. So what I do is I process the numbers, and then just maybe a night or maybe 2 nights before the match, I give it to him, to coach. Hey coach, these are the numbers. These are the numbers for enemy tomorrow. We have a lot, they have a high win rate in this kind of hero. You might want to consider banning it, something like that. But in terms of strategy, I think I'm the one who follows up. Let's say, for example, one of our players doesn't understand, and then I immediately get how coach wants to do it, and then I go into him like, "Hey, do you understand it?" Because basically, there was a language barrier between the coach and us, and some of our teammates. We have 2 Thai players, Barcode last season, and then some of the Filipino players that we have is really not that fluent in English, and then the translator is speaking in English, and he's not that fluent as well. So The thing is, that's a problem. That was a problem basically. So I'm the one who's bridging that one. Hey, this is what you need to do just to clarify. Do you understand? If you have any questions, let me know so that if I could answer, I would answer it, and if not, then we could raise it to the coach.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll follow up with the work with the Chinese coach. I want to know how was it? Was there like a culture difference between talking to the players on how you should execute the strategy? So walk us through that.
There actually is. One time, because we switched Chinese coaches, so basically I work with two Chinese coaches as well. Luckily, they both coach. They have an experience coaching in KGL, so I've got a lot of information from them. But way back when we were actually culture shocked, because basically the coach is actually kind of harsh, including the translator, basically. And we were saying, oh, I think the coach and the translator is already so harsh. But then as time goes by, while we were with the team, we just started to understand now, oh yeah, it's just them. It's just how Chinese people, speak and command you or teach you. They're more of the bad cop, if you would if you wouldn't mind. So yeah, it's kind of harsh, and some words are really not that borderline, not that good anymore. But eventually we just learned that that's how it is.
Okay, I know what to do now on the English broadcast.
Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm going to be the bad cop.
Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about Barcode in general. First off, the uniforms, right? It looks like a referee, or does it look like a prisoner? What side are you on this one?
Well, first and foremost, because basically Barcode, we just put it in our uniform. It's like a barcode in the uniform. So I would say that it's a barcode, not a prisoner, but a barcode. But we had the second uniform. Our sponsors actually gave us a second uniform just so that we have options. And then surprisingly, the whole team actually, we have a consensus is that if the plain white uniform that we have is available, then that's what we will wear. So we just stop using the other uniform, other than if we have, let's say, 2 games in a row for that week. Of course, we won't use the uniform that we had yesterday. So we would use the other uniform.
Okay.
Wait, but there's also a great fact about Barcode, right? Because one of the trivias was like you can scan the barcode and you'll be sent somewhere. That's the funny part about Barcode, yeah.
The thing is, one of our original sponsors actually said that if you really scan the code, it will put you onto our Facebook page. I don't know if it's true. I haven't tried.
Okay.
But yeah.
So cool. That's so cool.
If we're talking about some of these players, and I mean, you're talking about how the Chinese coaches were kind of scolding, a little bit harsh. Was there any player in particular that was a little bit more pointed towards it, like Valdez, BVV? Was there somebody that was taking most of the brunt of the yelling, I would say?
Well, there is one, and it's Chris too.
It's Chris? Okay.
Yeah, it's Chris too. Because basically, Chris is the one who really is not that fluent in English. That's why. I was always talking to him after, let's say, our session, our review session. At, hey, are you okay? Do you understand? Of course, in our language, just to make sure that he's comfortable. Right. There are some altercations here and there, in words, basically, but not that. It's not that worse. But yeah, eventually they just adjusted.
Wait. This is player to player or player against coaches and player against analysts?
Player to coach.
Oh, okay.
Player to coach.
This was a disagreement. Obviously in a pro team, everyone has their POV, right? Their perspective on how the game should be played or who should be priored, especially when there's objective takes or there's team fights. Who gets the number one support? So in Barcode, was there ever a main guy? Like, this is the guy you must support at all times?
Not specifically, because the Chinese coach, the strategy that the Chinese coach actually told us is that we're not focused on a single player. We're focused on the team. We're focused on the movement, focused on the lanes, focused on objectives. There's really not one person. In fact, one of the things that I learned in Barcode is that we have like tag system. So
Okay.
player 1 and player 2 go together, player 3 and player 4 go together. Usually it's the marksman and the roam, and then the mid lane and jungle if they can roam around, and then the clash lane mostly will take care of the disadvantage lane, something like that. So there's really no focus on a single player. Instead, it's really a collective effort with Barcode last season.
Yeah, I want to follow up on that though. When it comes to the drafting, it's coach, right, who is almost always there. So there's a language barrier, as you said. So how did they bridge that gap? Because he was the one, and the players are the only ones talking there.
Well, he actually have like this paper. Well, every coach has this paper. He actually has this paper where heroes picture.
Oh yeah,
heroes
the
are
paper.
there.
Yeah.
So instead of saying, pick Arlie, pick Sunset, something like that, he just points it out in his paper, like, pick this.
Okay.
Or pick this band, something like that, just to make sure that everyone understands.
Ooh.
Got it. Okay. So, but when they didn't have the greatest of seasons, unfortunately, right? And I'm sure that there was definitely some finger pointing, right? But at the end of the day, if we're looking at this roster, coaches, and obviously you're included in this, like, where would you say the blame kind of lies, right? If we're gonna talk about like 100% of blame, like 60% of the players, 80% of the players, or like 20% of the coach, like how would you break that down in terms of players, coaches, and of course yourself?
I would say I would just divide it between the coaching staff, me included with the coach, and then the players. So I would say 70 to the coaching staff, 30 to the players.
Wow.
Oh, okay. That's quite big. So it was less of a execution error, maybe more of like the research behind it.
Yeah.
Well, I would say I did my part. But the thing is, sometimes when me and the coaching staff are having disagreements, then it's up to him to decide at the end of the day. So I think that's the thing that we could have fixed last season. Communication between us, specifically the coaching staff, because sometimes some decisions and drafts are not favorable to the players, something like that.
Okay. And also to sorry, Holler. Just to add to that, Graham, because the last time that we were talking, right? We were talking during those times, and we were talking about coach got in like midway through the season. And do you think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why it was hard to adjust, because got in mid-season, here's some changes that you guys need to go for, something like that?
Well, definitely. I mean, because we changed coach mid-season. Actually, the coach arrived at our boot camp like a week after PKL started last season. Okay. So we were taught online first. Because the coaches the coach and the translator needs to fix their visas, their ticket here to the Philippines. So it took actually a week after PKL started when they came here. And then when they came here, of course, another a set of adjustments, like as what I've said earlier, harsh words and all that, which in the end we just understood that, hey, it's normal. So yeah, I think it was actually a big impact, wherein if we could have settled earlier, then maybe we could fix our game instead of fixing the adjustments that needs to be fixed.
Okay. So you were talking about 70%, and I think we can break that down a little bit further, right? Just because the coaches and obviously yourself, in terms of how we do it. Because if I'm looking at like even my rank games, right? When I play with Kin, it's his fault when we lose. 99%. No, it's not. 1% is on me because I let him partner with me. That's on me, right? But never again. I've learned my lesson. So let's talk a little bit about this breakdown that you have in terms of the 70%, right? Because I do feel like the coach obviously has a heavy influence. That's quite a big number. But like that 70%, like what sort of breakdown between the coach and yourself?
Between the coach and myself, I would say, sorry, coach, 90% of the coach, 10% on me.
Boom.
Boom. Yeah. I thought you're gonna go with the safest answer. 100% on me. It was a me problem. No,
basically not. But shout out to Coach Iwe. I mean, I've learned a lot from him, like really a lot. I even have my notebook of what I've learned. But the thing is, I think the problem is because since they were coaching in China, they were coaching in KGL. There are some part of the draft wherein even though I present numbers, they don't take it that seriously. Let's say, for example,
okay.
we have one match with TNT.
Yep.
TNT Impressive is actually Athena, an Athena user. Back then, Athena was really
yeah.
disruptive.
Yeah.
So the day of, actually the night before the match, I was talking with Coach. Like, Coach, I think we need to ban Athena. Athena will be disruptive for the team. And then he just told me that, nah, he won't do anything.
Oh, no.
I mean, I've seen Athena played out in China.
Yeah.
I think that won't do. It won't. And then come game day, everyone was like, the players was actually looking at me, and I said, no, I talked with coach. Talk to him.
Yeah.
Something like that. I talked with coach. I told him how TNT would play it out, and he didn't believe. There are some cases like that. I think I can't blame him because with his experience coaching in China, but I think what he needs to consider is that KPL and the global HOK is totally different in terms of heroes, items. There's a big difference. So yeah, I think that's what he needs to adjust on that one.
Yeah, I think the most insane thing about that is after that happened to you guys, Athena was banned the whole season. We didn't see Athena getting played again.
And even before that, I mean, TNT has games with other teams. They always ban Athena. So I'm mind blown. Like, well, why don't you ban? Why don't we ban Athena? Yeah.
All right. Okay, but even in that the rest of the season for PKL, which is the team that was the hardest to scout? Right, like in terms of getting the preparation ready and all of that. Which one really sticks out to you?
Well, in terms of numbers, I would say Blacklist. Because basically, Blacklist is winning all their games. Like, if you would look at the numbers, it's 100%, 90%, 90%. Like, how would I derive this? They're always winning. I can't even find their weakness, even though they have, like, let's say, for example, their top 5 picks. I could remember their top 5 picks on the Clash lane. It was like Guan Yu, Dharma, Mayin, and the win rate is like 100%, 90%, 85%. Like,
yeah.
So
how
what's
would
the
I know?
weakness? Yeah, how would I know? Like, how would I? Yeah, I can give it to coach. Hey, coach, this is the win rate for the team, and eventually all of their lanes are winning on a higher win rate. So I don't know. It's up to you.
Okay, I want to put you in a little bit of a tough spot here. So moving on with your experience, we have seen KIS 4. So Nova dismantled Blacklist as well. What do you think that the Nova coach and analysts are doing that you want to learn? Because they have that same stats as well, but somehow they figured every single thing about Blacklist.
I think it's not specifically about Blacklist, but it's specifically about the meta. As what I could read with the KIS, even before KIS started, Nova and other teams actually have an idea about what the meta is and how the meta would work. And eventually, sadly to say, the Philippine team, it's so obvious. Like, on the first set of games that they were picking heroes like heroes that is not on the meta. And I was watching and thinking, like, why are they picking these heroes? I mean, these heroes are not even the meta, even the item builds. I mean, on the farm lane, we have the holy trinity of items right now, a Spark Forge, Doomsday, and one critical item. They're not even doing that. Like, what's happening? I mean, and then eventually they actually, maybe they saw other games, studied other games, and they adapted. They finished both the Boom and Blacklist finished 3rd and 4th. And I think personally, not even in HOK, even in Dota, when I was analyzing Dota, that's the one of the biggest weakness of the Filipino teams. We are not the trendsetters. We're in international competition, international level tournaments, specifically LAN tournaments. It's a game of adjustments. Whoever adjusts first to that meta basically has a bigger advantage. And the thing is, we, the Filipino team to be specific, we are always chasing the meta. We are not the one dictating the meta. So I think that's the biggest problem right now.
Do you think they'll never win a championship until they're able to take that mantle away?
Yeah, I definitely am confident that it's going to be hard to win. I mean, I've seen a lot of championships being won. I'm just going to cite some old Dota 2 references. OG, they won back to back. And what they did, they put a support hero into a carry hero, which way back was like what? How are they doing this? And then they're winning. Like no one can decipher them. And that's the thing. That's what we are lacking as the Filipino teams, to be specific, in terms of winning international championships.
All right, that's the formula. So we're gonna see the Dolia machine gun build.
Yeah.
Well, why not? If it works, it works.
When do you predict a PKL team winning an international tournament? Like, is it this year? Is it next year? Like, when do you foresee that?
Well, I would say after the local tournament. I would.
PKL?
Yeah, after PKL, basically, it's kind of easy to see, unless there would be some changes in the meta, of course, like a big patch coming in, because that's going to be a different issue. But if the patch is just the same, like, if they do this and if they do that, then maybe they can win that, let's say KIS or KIC. But other than that, then they can't. If they can't do that, if they can't be the trendsetters for that tournament, then they will be having a hard time.
Okay. Fair. I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, I just want to ask though, for now, right now, where are we? 1 to 10, how close are we to right now before the PKL? How close are we to Malaysia specifically? Because they're the ones who got the championship.
And wait.
10 being the highest.
Before you answer, there's a follow-up after that. So choose your words wisely.
I'll get ready for the follow-up. But I would say in a scale of 1 to 10, we're still at a 6.
That's a 6. Okay.
A 6. The reason behind is Malaysia's team specifically Malaysia and the Chinese team. I've been following KPL as well. So I do see that there are tons of assistant coaches and analysts. And I think that's what we are lacking in the global scene right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because basically, when a new patch comes in, this analysts and assistants coaches will actually rack their brains up like, oh, this could be the meta. This could be something that we could work in. Wherein, as a single coach on a team right now, it's very, very hard to do that. So I think that's why I put it on a 6 first.
Okay. So, all right, let's break down the KIS, right? In the sense, the Nova Blacklist, obviously Blacklist losing, Boom Esports losing to Nongshim. But if you had to give one sort of feedback, right, as an analyst, like Blacklist should have done X, Boom should have done Y, what are those pieces?
Okay. I think for Blacklist is gonna be hard because basically they're facing up against Nova. So I think whatever they would do right now or they will do right now still won't be on Nova's level. Let's just accept that. So basically, acceptance is the key for you to improve, which that's how it is. But I think for Blacklist, I think they need to read the meta more. They need to be more. I would put it on a bracket: Blacklist and Boom, both. They should have read the meta more. They should have known the meta more. Because basically, if you know the meta, if you know how the meta works right now or the patch changes, then you could derive some, draft. You could derive some strategies. You could derive some lane matchups that could possibly work. And that I think that's the main thing that I could think of right now.
Okay, so you had the challenge of trying to beat MKL, right? Nova specifically. Team Hawk, we won't need to mention because they're fairly new. They got beaten all over the place, right? Beaten black and blue easily. But Nongshim Red Force, who were known as the PH gatekeepers, once again they have kept you guys. So let's not take it too far. We put the MKL people aside. You can't even beat Nongshim. So what's your advice for all the PKL teams against what potentially could be the next KML star?
I'm sorry, what was the question again? I was thinking about
your advice to the PKL teams. They'll be going up against Nongshim.
Advice to PKL teams that would go up to Nongshim. Basically, just play your game and play the meta. That's it. What I could actually notice in terms of draft with the Filipino teams, to be specific, is that they are not playing their draft. Because basically, let's say, for example, on a draft, you pick Dharma. Of course, you need to be aggressive. You need to pick up fights. But then the PKL teams are not doing that. Like, I was watching KIS one time, and I think it was Chami one who actually picked up the Dharma, and they're just staring at front of Nova. Like, you pick up the dharma, you take those fights even though you lose, because that's how your draft works. And I think that's also one of the problems, is that you're not staying true to your draft. Because basically, if you're trying to do the draft that, or if you're trying to do something that your draft can't, and I think that's going to be a big problem.
So kind of
I
like
want to ask too.
drinking
Okay.
soup with a fork, right? I think
Yeah,
that's
something
the-
like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just to add as a follow up to that, though, I want to know what are your thoughts about Nongshim that whole time, because man, they lost all their games during the group stages, but they got to the second place. So as an analyst, what do you think they did best? That's why they were able to get there.
I think they adapted. That's the keyword. I think that's the key. That's gonna be the keyword for me for today. It's all about adapting into the meta. Because if you adapt to the meta, you know how the meta works. Then basically, it's gonna be easy for you to adjust. I mean, we are on the same level with Nongshim way back on the group stages of KIS. I mean, we are losing games, both Philippines and Nongshim. But then after the group stages, I think they racked their brains up. They analyzed the others' draft. They analyzed how good teams play, and then put it in their own style. And that's what I see. What I see with Nongshim is that what I noticed actually is that they have um, a heavy importance. They put a heavy importance on their middle lane. So rather
Vision.
than it's okay for them to trade on their sides, lose towers on the sides, as long as they don't lose their middle lane, which I do fully understand, because once the middle lane opens up, then that's going to be a big problem. And I think they're winning on that one, because I see one strategy that Nongshim did. Since they are focusing on their middle lane, the other team was actually going into the side lanes, and then they understand, oh, they're gonna go into the side lanes, and then they're gonna follow up with the gank on that side lane, getting a kill, and then from there on, they're gonna get a tyrant, they're gonna invade their jungle.
Open up the map. Yeah.
Yeah, and once the whole team goes back again, they're gonna group up in the middle lane again. No, we're not gonna give this one up. So I think that's what Nongshim did good. They did understand that mid lane is a heavy priority right now in the meta.
Okay. I mean, if you had to like pick a team, would you like to join, right? What sort of team would you want to be joining? Would you want someone like a Nova that's like kind of already high flying, or would you want that's one that's like struggling or just getting starting out, like to kind of build up and to kind of pass on some of your knowledge? Like, what is the ideal team for you right now?
For me, I would really like to join a team who performs great first, but has a Chinese coach as well. Some orgs are actually reaching out to me that, hey, would you like to be a coach for this team? But then I don't know. It's like after the two coaches Chinese coaches that I had, I feel like I need to learn more. I'm not gonna jump in. I want to learn more, because basically, yes, the Chinese style of gameplay is different, but on the foundation, they are all the same. That's what I found out.
Yeah.
The foundations are all the same. It's just that the styles that they execute are all different. So I want to see one more perspective from a Chinese coach, and then after that, maybe I could, get. So if to answer your question, Holler, I think Nova would be a good team to join in, just to make just to see how things work on their side.
All right, from what I can tell, and this is of course just based on this interview alone, is that the Chinese coaches do a lot of yelling, right?
Yeah.
What else do you need to learn? All you do is just yell at these guys, right? Like, how hard is that? Like, put me in, coach. I can do that. No?
Yeah, well, not specifically the yelling. I mean, I would tone that down. But again, it's the style that how they play, which is, it always fascinates me. Even when I watch KPL, I was actually watching KPL the other day, and the meme Leonardo DiCaprio, oh, something like that. When you see something, when they did this kind of strategy, oh, that's what they taught me, something like that. So I want to learn more from the Chinese coaches.
Okay, I have a question though, because if you want to learn more, if for example you get a team this season, then PKL full, do you think it's the time for you to coach for fall season?
Yeah, I would confidently say yes.
Okay.
Love it.
We will wait for your arrival then. I'm super curious because definitely you have had some experience. So using that experience as we head into spring for PKL,
Yeah. There you
give
go.
us your predictions.
Oh, predictions. Um, Well, I've heard some of the rosters has been already been released.
Mm-hmm,
So,
Mm-hmm.
but some I have still rumors in my side. Nothing has been confirmed yet. But from what I could say, there would be a great divide this PKL Spring.
Ooh,
okay.
A great
okay.
divide from the teams that are actually good, has a good coaching staff, versus those teams that don't have a good coaching staff. Because
Oh.
by now, people understand that if you have a good coach, specifically Chinese coach, you have a good, basically you have a good team. And unfortunately, some of the newer teams that came in from the Open Series doesn't have that money yet to get a Chinese coach. I mean, getting a Chinese coach is very, very expensive, just so others know. So there would be a great divide this PKL season. Some teams will actually struggle versus other teams, something like
Okay.
that.
I have a specific question. I want to know your thought about this. Other than Blacklist and Boom, who do you think is gonna surprise us for
Ooh,
Mhm.
this season, especially with the whole
interesting.
roster changes that they have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Just give one.
Specific, I would say. Hmm. On the top of my head, I think Barcode, J Gaming Esports,
J
which
Gaming, yeah.
is yeah, Barcode. Previously, Barcode would actually do well.
Mm-hmm.
They have Nitsu, they have Curvesu,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
yeah, and they have a Chinese jungler as well. And together with the
Oh,
Chinese coach, they would. Oh, sorry, no, but I think that's already known. Some I've seen some
oh.
posts already in the
Yeah. Cool.
MKL.
Okay, okay. It's announced. Okay.
Actually, uh
I didn't know
exposed
that.
that there would be a Chinese jungler for Barcode. But
Mm.
yeah, I think Barcode would be another team. If I could think on top of my head, maybe Flash.
Mhm. Okay.
Flash.
Flash.
Gushing.
Yeah.
Gushing is
Flash
there.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, Gushing is there, and from what I've heard, I'm not yet confirmed, but from what I've heard, they actually hired a Chinese coach as well.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, okay.
Is the Chinese player or the Chinese coach more valuable on a team?
Oh, yeah.
I would say for now, Chinese coach.
Mm.
Mm. Oh wow. Okay.
Basically, the coach will be the one who's gonna put up the foundations for the team. And if you have a good foundation, you know how to play the game, then it's gonna be easier for the team to execute and win the game.
Yeah,
Okay.
fully agree, fully agree. I mean, the player is just one person, right? But the coach
Yeah.
helps to manage and kind of like mold the entire thing. So now we
Yes.
have your PKL insights. This ongoing beef with IKL, right? Are you guys going to continue dominating them? Because as we move on from pro leagues, obviously, we go into the big stages, right? EWC, KWC. Do you think PKL teams will be doing better than the IKL teams based on what you've seen from KIS performances?
From KS performances, yes, I could definitely say for the next months, PKL would be dominating IKL. And I think not to belittle IKL. IKL is also improving, but the
Yeah.
rate that
Fast.
how PKL is improving right now and will improve on the PKL season, I think it's gonna be very exciting for. That's why when someone actually is talking to me about PKL, I'm just telling them PKL Spring would be very exciting. A lot of Chinese coaches, Chinese influences will be there. So it's just up to the teams on how they will execute it and how they would win.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yep. Dash, go
Yeah.
ahead.
To add to that, going back to PKL, do you think it's still Blacklist and Boom that's gonna be top 1 and 2 this season?
I would say Blacklist would be on the top 1 and 2, but for Boom, yeah, their
Ooh.
their spot is kind
Ooh.
of 50-50 right now, I would say. Uh, there are some problems that actually came up. I think HOK Global Esports actually posted a video wherein Gary,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Boom CEO,
Mhm.
Yeah.
actually was talking about. And I would agree to him. I mean, if you don't know why you are winning and why you are losing, then that's gonna be a problem. If they continue to go on that trend,
Mhm.
then I think Boom will be dethroned as top 1 and 2.
Okay. Okay. I mean, but there's 6 invited teams at the PKL, 4 that
Mhm.
just happen to go through the qualifiers, and
Yep.
this is the biggest PKL thus far. But
So
are
far,
we
yeah.
going to see some of these qualifiers really take the fight to like a Boom and a Blacklist, or is it going to be a bit of a stomp? Especially since we have best of fives, which
Yeah.
might not be the most entertaining, especially if they're not competitive, right?
Exactly. For me, I think this new teams that will come in, unless they would have some sort of help from a really good coach and a good player, it's gonna be hard for them to reach the levels that some of the partner teams had. That's why I was saying there would be a great divide this spring season for PKL.
Okay. Cool. I have one final question, which is IKL side. So if there's any IKL side, since you say that they are going to be in a less reassured position, what is the one team that you would want any PKL team to defeat from IKL that makes it worth?
BTR, Bigatron.
Ooh.
So far,
Yeah.
Bigatron is really the best team in IKL right now, and I think they will still continue. It's kind of scary if you would look at it on how BDR or Bigatron was actually playing on the KIS. It's very scary. I think they had a match with Boom or Blacklist,
Boom.
and they actually
With Boom, yeah.
have gone toe to toe. With Boom, I think it's the game 7 one, right? So wherein they actually defeated in the ultimate battle. Boom defeated them in an ultimate battle, but still, so that's close. That's how close Bigatron is to possibly defeating some of the teams here in PKL.
Okay. All right. As we're starting to wrap up in a bit, any sort of final words, any shout out to your fans, all of that? Any closing
All
thoughts?
orcs to, get you in the team.
Yeah, shout out to Orgs, by the way. I'm free right now. But yeah, thank you very much. First, shout outs to you guys, Dash, Holler, and Kin, for inviting me here. It's been a pleasure. Also, shout out to VVV. VVV was actually is the one that I am close with in PKL. Unfortunately, he can't play right now because of some personal reasons. He actually qualified with RWE.
Yeah.
But he can play right now. I was chatting with him the other day, and he can play right now due to personal reasons. I think he needs to fix something in Thailand, something like that. So yeah, he can come to the Philippines. So shout outs to VV. Also shout outs to my former team Barcode, even though we're on different paths right now. We still chat from time to time. So yeah, and shout outs to all my supporters right there who's following my videos and my page. So go check it out right now. I think I would be a little bit more free this season, so I would post more content right there.
Awesome. And we'll, of course, be posting those links. We'll let everyone know. We definitely want to kind of get into the mind of an analyst, AKA like a serial killer would be thinking like, I would assume. But I'm super excited to kind of, again, show those. I want to see them myself. But again, I also want to give a shout out to teams that are looking for a potential coach in this spring. It's going to be, of course, it's going to be Kin Dofu because he speaks a little Chinese and he does a little bit of yelling and he will take 50 cents on the dollar of a coaching salary. So shout out to him. So,
Yo,
that said, Dolia Smite or Marco Polo Execute. You'll be seeing a lot of those. But thank you so much, Graham, for taking time out of your day to be on the podcast with us. It was a great honor for us and to really see how you guys really think, because I think you bring a lot to the team and it is definitely underrated. So again, shout outs to you for that. So thank you so much, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you.